especially if the exhaustion you carry did not come from strangers, but from trying to earn safety, love, or approval where it was never freely given. If you are hearing these words right now, this moment was not random and it was not delayed. It was interrupted on purpose, a precise crossing where heaven stepped into your exhaustion to be seen and known. This message meets you where you are, worn down from trying so long, with so little to show for it, where days feel like repeats and effort feels invisible, where worry about tomorrow presses on your chest and money or responsibility has become a constant background noise. Especially if the exhaustion did not come from strangers, but from trying to earn safety, love, or approval from the very people who were supposed to give it freely. You have been faithful, consistent, hopeful, longer than anyone realizes. And still, the movement you expected did not come, leaving you wondering if your existence itself was the problem? If loving harder or shrinking quieter would finally make you acceptable. Nothing about you is broken. The tiredness you feel is not weakness. It is the evidence of endurance, of carrying weight that was never meant to live on your shoulders. Heaven recognizes the loop you have been stuck in, the feeling of life standing still while time keeps moving, the quiet fear that you are falling behind while doing everything you know how to do. This recognition is not meant to expose you. It is meant to soothe you. The Lord will not cast off forever, but though he causes grief, he will have compassion according to the abundance of his steadfast love. Lamentations 3:31-32. What you have been walking through has had an expiration date, and that date is closer than you think. This season of strain is ending. The shift has already begun, and what God has been preparing is now approaching you from a direction you could not control or predict. Let us not grow weary of doing good, for in due season we will reap, if we do not give up. Galatians 6-9. Relief is beginning to replace pressure. Reassurance is settling where doubt once lived. And hope is quietly reawakening without effort. Chosen one, you bent yourself in ways your soul still remembers, softening your voice, shrinking your needs, carrying responsibility that was never assigned to you, believing that if you just adjusted one more time, love would finally arrive. And without ever naming it, you were slowly cast into the role of the problem, the one expected to carry what others refused to face. You tried harder, stayed quieter, gave more, endured longer, and still the approval you were chasing kept moving farther away, leaving you exhausted, confused, and slowly trained to believe that your existence itself was the problem. That kind of effort drains something deep, because it teaches you to doubt your own reflection, to question whether your presence is a problem that needs correction. The weight you carried was not small, and the anxiety that followed was not imagined. It was the natural result of holding a burden that did not belong to you. What you felt was real. The shame that crept in did not come because you were flawed, but because you were absorbing words and expectations that were never true. The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34-18. This recognition matters, because it tells you that heaven saw the quiet unraveling, the nights when doubt spoke louder than hope, the moments when pain turned inward, and you wondered if disappearing would hurt less than staying visible. You were not weak for isolating. You were protecting yourself the only way you knew how. Then, something shifted inside you. Not all at once, but enough to notice. You saw what love could look like without conditions. Families where joy was not rationed and affection was not earned. And the ache that rose was not envy, but grief for what should have been yours from the beginning. That grief did not break you. It woke you. It showed you that the absence of love was not evidence of your unworthiness, but of someone else's inability to give it. Pause. In Scripture, Joseph was rejected by those closest to him. Cast aside not because he was wrong, but because his light unsettled what they refused to face. And what they meant to silence became the very path that lifted him. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. Genesis 50-20. Now hear this clearly. What you have been carrying is reaching its limit. The pattern that drained you is loosening. Something is shifting beneath the surface, even if nothing looks different yet. This is not because you finally proved yourself, but because the assignment has shifted and the weight is no longer yours to carry. Now listen carefully. The responsibility for restoration, justice, and outcome is no longer on you. It rests fully in God's hands, steady and unshaken. You are not required to fix the past or convince anyone of your worth. What comes next will not demand more effort from you. It will confirm what your spirit already knows. And if you stay, the next part will unlock and activate what has been quietly preparing to move in your favor. Chosen one, if this is speaking to you, support this message. Like the video, subscribe, and write "I receive" in the comments. Now breathe and stay with me, because the next part is for the season you're in right now. Chosen one, the pain you survived was never a sign to erase you. It was meant to wake something ancient and unbreakable inside you. And the moment you began to see that, the ground beneath you shifted. What once felt like rejection started revealing itself as evidence of your strength, not your failure. And the shame that was placed on you began to lose its voice as you recognized it never belonged to you. Their inability to love you was not a verdict on your worth. It was a mirror of their own blindness. And your spirit has known this truth long before your mind could say it out loud. You were never meant to disappear into their expectations or shrink yourself to earn peace. You were designed to stand in light without apology, to live unfiltered, unowned, and unafraid. I have called you by name. You are mine. Isaiah 43:1. Pause. That calling does not require permission from those who tried to contain you, because your value was established before they ever formed an opinion. Like David, overlooked by his own family while the oil of anointing waited, you were never absent from God's sight, even when others failed to recognize you. And what they dismissed was exactly what heaven was preparing. As you began to create distance, not from bitterness, but from wisdom, something sacred happened. Your peace started returning. They sensed the shift before you announced it, felt their control loosening, and responded the only way they knew how, by rewriting the story and casting you once again as the problem. The accusations cut deep because old wounds still remember how to ache, and there are moments when doubt resurfaces and you quietly wonder if protecting your peace makes you unloving or wrong. Transition now. In those moments, heaven does not stand back in silence. God steps closer. The Lord is my refuge and my fortress, my God, in whom I trust. Psalm 91:2. He sees the battles no one applauded, the tears you swallowed, the prayers you whispered when you had no strength left to explain yourself. And he does not confuse survival with rebellion. You were not abandoning anyone, you were choosing life. The truth is settled now. Their rejection will refine you, not restrain you. And the fire meant to break you has only clarified who you are. You were chosen long before they tried to name you. And nothing they said has the authority to undo what God has spoken. Your peace is not cruelty. Your boundaries are not betrayal. And your healing is not selfish. You are stepping into alignment, not isolation. And this awakening is only the beginning. Because what comes next will confirm what your spirit already feels. Unlock the strength you've been walking toward, and activate the next movement that you were always meant to enter. Chosen one, hear this clearly at the deepest place in you, because the attacks you endured were never proof that something was wrong with you. They were evidence that something in you could not be owned, controlled, or reshaped to serve another person's fear. You became the focus not because you were weak, but because you were different. Because your light exposed what they worked hard to keep hidden inside the family system you were raised in. Their words were not born from truth. They were born from insecurity, from unresolved wounds, from a need to dominate what they could not understand. And none of that belongs to you. You are not required to answer every accusation, to correct every lie, or to bleed energy explaining your heart to people committed to misunderstanding it. If words are required, you may say calmly, "I care about you, but I am no longer willing to sacrifice my peace to keep this dynamic," and then stop. Silence was not cowardice. It was wisdom rising to protect you. Pause. There is strength in restraint, dignity in stillness, and authority in refusing to perform for someone else's chaos. Scripture reminds us, "Do not avenge yourselves, but leave room for the wrath of God." Romans 12:19. And this truth releases you from battles that were never yours to win. Think of Nehemiah, rebuilding the wall while voices mocked, threatened, and tried to pull him into endless argument. and instead of engaging every provocation, he kept building, refusing to come down from the work assigned to him. Their noise did not stop the construction, and your progress has never depended on their approval either. When they accused you, guilted you, rewrote the narrative to paint you as the villain, it pierced old wounds because you once needed their love to survive. But that season is closing now. Transition now. When silence is no longer possible and words must be spoken, you are not called to fight with their weapons. You are called to stand with clarity, calm, and truth that cannot be twisted. Your voice does not need volume to carry authority. It needs alignment. Even Scripture affirms, a gentle answer turns away wrath. Proverbs 15:1. And gentleness does not mean weakness. It means self-control anchored in peace. You are allowed to say that you love them while choosing yourself. Allowed to name boundaries without apology. Allowed to protect your well-being without defending your worth. You may say, I love you, but I cannot sacrifice my peace to keep this connection. And you do not owe an explanation beyond that. Your boundaries are not rejection. They are preservation. And anyone threatened by that was benefiting from your silence before. You are no longer responsible for managing their emotions, rescuing their comfort, or shrinking to maintain their version of family. Heaven sees every tear you cried in private, every moment you questioned yourself, every time you wondered if choosing peace made you selfish, and heaven has rendered its verdict already. You are not wrong for stepping back. You are not cruel for choosing life. And you are not abandoning love by refusing abuse. What they tried to use to break you has refined your discernment, strengthened your spine, and clarified your identity. This is the turning point where you stop carrying the weight of explaining yourself and start walking in quiet authority, because your life speaks louder now than any defense ever could. If something in you feels unsettled right now, that is not confusion, it is recognition. Chosen one, protecting yourself now means honoring the quiet strength that has been forming inside you. And that strength shows itself through boundaries that do not shake when pressure rises. These boundaries are not punishments, and they are not rejection. They are the line where your peace is guarded and your life is allowed to breathe again. You have learned the hard way that access to you must no longer be unlimited, because unlimited access taught others they could wound you without consequence. Choosing to step back from disrespect is not cruelty, it is clarity. And following through when a line is crossed is not aggression, it is self-respect finally standing upright. The subtle comments, the sideways glances, the carefully disguised digs were often more painful than open attacks, because they made you question your own perception, but heaven has never been confused about what was happening. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. Isaiah 54:17. Pause. That promise covers every manipulation, every judgment, every attempt to pull you back into guilt, and every word designed to make you doubt your growth. You are no longer required to absorb harm in the name of peace. What protects you now is not constant defense, but grounded authority, the calm refusal to engage where dishonor is present. And when the weight of it all presses in, prayer becomes the place where you release what you cannot carry, not as a performance, but as relief. You place their words, their actions, and their unresolved pain back into God's hands, not to excuse them, but to free yourself from bitterness that was never meant to live in you. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus 14:14. This truth steadies you when old patterns try to resurface. There will be moments when their voices awaken the younger part of you, the one who still longs for unconditional approval, the one who wonders if love could finally be earned if you just tried one more time. In those moments, remember the story of Hagar, cast out and unseen by those who should have protected her, yet met by God in the wilderness, who saw her fully and called her by name. You have been seen like that too, not overlooked, not forgotten, not dismissed. Transition now. You are already loved without conditions, already known without performance, already held without explanation. I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Psalm 139:14. That truth does not fluctuate with moods or opinions, and nothing you do can increase or diminish it. You do not need to earn what was freely given, and you do not need to fight to defend what God has already established. As this settles in, strength replaces anxiety, and calm replaces vigilance, because you are no longer living for approval but from acceptance. Stay with what is unfolding, because the next part will activate a deeper sense of safety, unlock the final release from old wounds, and confirm what your spirit has been quietly realizing all along. Chosen one, when you begin to protect your heart, they may call you cold, distant, even heartless, but distance is not cruelty. It is clarity, finally taking shape. You did not change because you became unloving. You changed because staying the same was costing you your peace, your health, and your sense of self. Choosing space does not mean you stopped caring. It means you stopped bleeding. Your strength now speaks in calm decisions rather than emotional reactions, and that resolve unsettles those who were comfortable with your silence. You are not required to stay close to what keeps wounding you, and you are not obligated to explain your healing to those who benefited from your pain. Pause. Even so, you are human, and sometimes their words still slip past your defenses, reopening old places that remember rejection too well. But those moments do not mean you are failing. They mean you are healing in layers. When guilt or shame tries to take root again, you place that weight down, not with panic, but with trust, knowing you were never meant to carry it alone. Fear not, for I am with you. Be not dismayed, for I am your God. Isaiah 41:10. This promise reaches you in the moments when your chest tightens and the child inside you still longs for approval, reminding you that steadiness does not come from being understood by others, but from being held by God. Think of Jesus himself, who often withdrew from crowds, even from those who wanted more from him, choosing solitude not because he lacked love, but because he honored his limits and stayed aligned with his purpose. Withdrawal was not rejection, it was obedience to peace. And your spirit recognizes that pattern now. Transition now. When their narratives escalate, when they try to pull others into misunderstanding you, you remain grounded, refusing gossip and retaliation, because you no longer need noise to validate truth. Though my father and mother forsake me, the Lord will receive me. Psalm 27:10. That assurance steadies you when accusations try to redefine you, because you are not selfish, not rebellious, not ungrateful. You are grounded, awake, and choosing life. Their labels do not define your identity, and their games do not require your participation. You are allowed to say you will not engage in conversations that tear others down, that your focus is building a life shaped by peace and purpose. And that decision carries quiet authority. God sees what they misinterpret. He knows your intentions, your tears, your restraint, and your courage, and his view has always outweighed theirs. You are his beloved, chosen for a purpose that does not need their approval to unfold. Chosen one. This word is meeting you in a place of deep fatigue, where effort has outweighed outcome and the weight you've been carrying has begun to press into your identity, making you wonder if this endless striving is all life will ever be. You have been responsible for things that were never yours to manage, holding together emotions, expectations, and futures that should not have rested on your shoulders. And the cost of that has been quiet exhaustion, mixed with fear about what comes next. This heaviness has names, and heaven is not confused about them. It is the tiredness of sowing without seeing harvest, the anxiety of finances that never feel stable, the ache of feeling stuck while time keeps moving. The subtle doubt that whispers your value depends on how much you endure. My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12-9. Pause. That weakness is not a flaw. It is the place where God meets you most clearly. And your weariness is not proof of failure, but evidence that you have been faithful longer than most could survive. Think of Elijah under the broom tree, emptied after giving everything, asking only to stop. And instead of correction, he was met with rest, food, and quiet presence before any direction returned. Your exhaustion is being treated the same way, with compassion, not demand. Transition now. The season you are in is not about pushing harder, but about being real enough to let God take what you were never meant to hold. And that release is already beginning. Cast your cares on the Lord, and he will sustain you. Psalm 55-22. That sustaining does not arrive with noise or pressure. It comes gently, like strength returning before circumstances change, like hope breathing again before solutions appear. The future that has felt foggy is not empty. It is simply unfolding outside your control, and that does not make it unsafe. You are being affirmed right now, not for what you produce, but for who you are. And that truth loosens the grip of comparison and fear. Something new is forming underneath the stillness, a quiet anticipation that what drained you will not define you. And that movement will come without you forcing it. You are not behind. You are being repositioned. And the rest you are entering is not delay, but preparation. Stay with what is unfolding, because what comes next will activate clarity where there has been confusion, unlock peace where anxiety lived, and confirm that the shift you feel inside is the beginning of something you were always meant to step into. Before anything else, let the pressure lift, because you do not need to fix yourself, explain yourself, or carry one more invisible responsibility to be worthy of what God is doing. You are allowed to stop right where you are. In this season, alignment begins not with effort, but with permission, allowing yourself to slow down without guilt and to rest without needing a reason. You might allow yourself to begin the day without immediately checking what demands you, even if just for a few quiet breaths, letting your body settle before your mind starts racing. You are invited to notice where you've been holding tension, in your shoulders, your jaw, your chest, and gently release it, trusting that nothing important will fall apart if you soften. You don't need to solve tomorrow today. You can allow worries about money, timing, or outcomes to be set down at night, even temporarily, reminding your heart that vigilance is not the same as faith. Trust can look very small right now, like choosing not to replay conversations that drained you, or allowing yourself to leave a situation earlier than usual when peace begins to fade. You are invited to release the habit of self-monitoring, of constantly asking if you are doing enough or being enough, and instead receive moments of simple presence, a slow walk, a quiet meal, a pause between tasks, trusting that God moves just as powerfully in stillness as in motion. Rest here is not quitting, it is preparation, the kind that happens beneath the surface before anything visible shifts. You might allow your prayers to become fewer words and more honesty, not asking for answers, but resting in the assurance that you are already being guided. Receiving may feel unfamiliar, but it can be as gentle as allowing help, allowing joy without earning it, allowing today to be enough. In this posture, you are not abandoning responsibility. You are returning it to the one who never asked you to carry it alone. As you live from this place, you don't need to understand every step or control the outcome, because what is meant for you is not delayed by rest and cannot be forced by striving. It will arrive in its appointed time, quietly, completely, and without you having to push the door open. As this moment gently comes to a close, let everything you felt be held without needing to label it or make sense of it. Nothing that surfaced in you was accidental, and nothing was misplaced. The tiredness, the release, the quiet recognition, the sense of being seen, all of it carries meaning, and all of it has been acknowledged. You are not late, you are not lost, and you have not been forgotten. The pace of your life right now matches the season you are walking through, and there is no rush where trust is being formed. What you've been carrying, what you've been questioning, and what you've been learning to release all belong to this moment, and they are not signs of failure, but of transition. It is safe to stop striving here. Safe to loosen your grip, safe to let yourself be held instead of holding everything together. You are not alone in this unfolding, and you never were. Remain here for the quiet that follows, allowing the stillness to deepen as we move gently into the moment of prayer ahead. If something in this moment touched a place you rarely name, you are gently invited to share it in the comments. Only as much as feels safe. It may be a quiet hope, a long-held fear, a question without an answer, or a burden you have never spoken aloud. Writing it down is not just leaving a comment. It is an act of release, a way of placing what you carry into God's hands, trusting that He sees, listens, and holds every word with care. There is no pressure to explain yourself or to be strong here. Even a few simple words are enough. If this message brought peace or clarity, you are welcome to share it with someone who may need the same reassurance. And you may choose to subscribe so you can remain connected to moments like this when your spirit needs rest. You are not alone, and this moment is being held in God's presence and grace. Sometimes the moment you write it is the moment you stop protecting a version of the story that was never true, and finally tell the one your soul has been carrying in silence.